We're still waiting for a couple more people to show up.
Mhm.
I got a minute or two before 5, so we'll just wait.
Let me see.
Nanya, I think is it just Monique we're waiting for? Is that
Monique and Jeff Sattler.
okay? Just give it one more moment. We have a quorum, so just wait one moment and then we'll get going.
Sure, thank you.
Nanette, am I on here? This is Bill Johnson, because I'm having technical difficulties. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, I still got the circle of death going on my screen. I had to log in through a different venue. I don't know.
We hear
But
you.
you're
Gotcha.
here.
And you're on camera too. We got you.
Well, okay.
Good news.
Mhm.
Well, I don't know if
Technology.
it's good news, but it's news.
Well, let's jump in, everyone. We do have a quorum. So welcome to the regular meeting of the Springfield Technical Community Trustees for Monday, November 22nd, 2021. Nanette, would you please call the roll?
Yes, Mary Kate Murin,
Present.
Janae McDonald,
Present.
Elizabeth Esposito,
Present.
Monique Seldom, Maurice Lindsay,
Present.
Vicky Kraus,
Present.
Tamalit Hogan,
Present.
Phil Johnson,
Here.
Norm Jordan,
Present.
Jeff Sattler,
Present.
and Max Starks.
Present.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Nanette. Appreciate it. Do I hear a motion to accept the meeting minutes of our Board of Trustee meeting of October 25th, 2021?
So move.
Bill
Second.
Johnson,
Great, thank-
second.
Great. Thank you, Bill. Discussion. Hearing none, Nanette, would you please call the roll to accept the meeting minutes of October 25th, 2021?
Yes, Mary Kate Murin,
Yes.
Janae McDonald,
Yes.
Elizabeth Esposito,
Yes.
Monique Seldom, Maurice Lindsay,
Yes.
Vicky Kraus,
Yes.
Samalit Hogan,
Yes.
Phil Johnson,
Yes.
Norm Jordan,
Yes.
Jeff Sattler,
Yes.
and Max Starks.
Yes.
Thanks again.
Great. Thank you so much. We're going to transition right into our trustee committee reports. Trustee McDonald, if you could give us the update for the internal and external of November 1st, 2021.
Sure. We had an overview of student enrollment and retention outlook by Darcy Kemp, VP of Student Affairs. She provided an outlook on enrollment, student retention, and information included pre and during COVID numbers. And she's talked about how the department continues to work on retention, enrollment, outreach campaigns, and using targeted approaches. We also got an update on the vaccine mandate compliance numbers. We're currently at 33%. And we also learned, that's numbers based on the student population that has already uploaded their VAX docs. And the department seems really confident in their numbers continuing to climb. And as part of the process, the college is ready to provide an avenue for students to seek medical and religious exemptions. We also received an update from Academic Affairs from Dr. DeBurley, who spoke about the 2 federal grants that we received, totaling $7 million. Both are focused on, or both share a focus, on retention and graduation rates. We also received an update from Dr. Hill on the Innovation Fellowship and the extensive research that she is doing on best practices, her continued engaging with community college in and out of the state, surveying faculty, making contact with Springfield Public Schools math faculty, her standing meetings with Dr. Cook, engaging with Academic Affairs and meeting with deans and faculty departments. And lastly, we had a conversation with our unit Congress. They gave us a history and overview of the AUC and provided some challenges that the body has been facing for participation. It was brought to our attention that AUC was adopted by the previous president, and it actually doesn't necessarily meet the requirements by NETRI for shared governance right now, but AUC continues to be on the internal external agendas. And also based on tonight's agenda, the board will be navigating the appropriate route to take for shared governance.
Great. Thank you so much. Do I hear a motion to accept the Committee on Internal and External Relations meeting minutes of November 1st, 2021?
I make a motion.
A second, Madam Chair.
Great. Thank you, Norm, Betty and Norm. Discussion. Hearing none. Nanette, would you please call the roll to accept the Committee on Internal External Relations November 1st, 2021 meeting minutes?
Yes, Mary Kate Murin,
Yes.
Janae McDonald,
Yes.
Betty Esposito,
Yes.
Monique Seldom Riley, Maurice Lindsay,
Yes.
Vicky Krause,
Yes.
Samalid Hogan,
Yes.
Bill Johnson,
Yes.
Norm Roldan,
Yes.
Jeff Sattler,
Yes.
and Max Starks.
Yes.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you. And Trustee Starks, we're going to transition right into the November 8th, 2021 Committee on Ways and Means.
Great. Thank you, Madam Chair. So we started with the fiscal year 2021 fourth quarter trust fund and vendor expenditure reports review. The college has 3 trust funds: a general education, health trust, and capital improvements. The trust fund revenues and expenditures for each fall in line with expectations, considering the decrease in enrollment. We then spent the bulk of the meeting discussing the major capital project proposal, School of Health relocation, Building 20. The discussion focused on the new request proposal that will be submitted to DCAM, the Division of Capital Asset Management and Maintenance, in December 2021. In the new proposal, 3 programs would move to the Tech Park. A couple of workforce focus programs would relocate to Building 27, and most of the remaining SIPS programs moving to a renovated Building 13. The total project cost is currently estimated at $41.5 million. The source funding breakout is $30 million from DCAM, $5 million from the Economic Development Bill via legislative support, and stick equity of $6 million pending a trustee vote, and STCC Foundation funds of $500,000. A motion was then made and approved that the STCC Committee on Ways and Means recommend to the Board of Trustees a $6 million increase to the General Education Trust Fund budget sources of funds and uses of funds by utilizing trust fund reserves. The use of the reserves is contingent upon receiving necessary funding from DCAM and/or legislative support and may not take place until fiscal year 2023 or later. We then had a brief fiscal year 2022 financial update, then adjourned the meeting.
Great. Thank you so much, Trustee Starks. I appreciate it. Do I hear a motion to accept the meeting minutes of the Committee on Ways and Means for November 8th, 2021?
Madam Chair, I make motion to accept the report.
Thank you, Norm. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Great, thank you, Janae. Discussion. Hearing none, Nanette, would you please call the roll to accept the meeting minutes of the Ways and Means Committee for November 8th, 2021?
Mary Kate Murin,
Yes.
Janae McDonald,
Yes.
Betty Esposito. Betty?
Yes.
Mhm.
Sorry about that.
Monique, Maurice Lindsay,
Yes.
Vicky Kraus,
Yes.
Samalid Hogan,
Yes.
Bill Johnson,
Yes.
Norm Roldan,
Yes.
Jeff Sattler,
Yes.
and Max Starks.
Yes.
Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. We do have a couple of slides that I would like to turn it over to Dr. Cook just to answer some Q&A and have some before we go into the motion.
That's great. Good evening, everyone. Really good to see you. Thank you for the time. Again, we just wanted to be sure that there was ample time at the full board to have any questions, any conversation you may have. You will see, right, we sent out the link to a wonderfully in-depth and comprehensive Ways and Means conversation around this project. We also have with us tonight, in addition to Andrea Nathanson, of course, our CFO, we do have Chris Scott again, who's our Dean of Health and Patient Simulation. We also have Deb Avery, who's our Senior Director of Facilities, in case you have any specific questions, program or facilities wise. But let me just walk through again, just to summarize where we are. We're in a really wonderful place. Again, we're very encouraged by this opportunity. Let me take that next slide. And there's just two of these, and then I'm happy to take any questions. Again, we've got history and context on the left-hand side, 700 students, 13 associates programs, 5 certificates. We've talked quite a bit about the status of Building 20 and how problematic it is. We've referenced the master plan, which is a wonderful backstop on how we've prioritized this. Talked a little bit about the emergencies that we've contended with. And again, really good feedback from DCAM lining this up. You'll see the sort of layout as described there. Building 13 really is a sort of signature change, and what our revised proposal will include. Really reusing and reimagining a building on campus, I think, has really helped us. And frankly, it's in decent shape given our campus. So that's a bit of the sort of program and proposal. Again, I don't mean to gloss things over. We'll see what questions you may have. Let me take the next slide there, which again is more budget and funding. Again, we've got this place over across the street called the Tech Park. It's incredibly advantageous because so many of these programs carry accreditation. You can't wander too far from campus without either accrediting body coming and doing a site visit and or asking you to duplicate services. So that's really, really helpful. Again, we talked about Building 13. And again, this funding stack, this funding on the right-hand side is also different from last time. Your support really will help make a huge difference this time. It's specific. And you also see, in case you want to put this 6 million in the context of the 3 million for Building 19, we talked in Ways and Means about that proportion of net position, which is fairly similar. So really, that is a quick nutshell overview of it. There's been just a tremendous work by our team here at the college to help shape, sharpen the pencil, and really form this. But again, we're happy to take any questions trustees may have.
Questions from trustees. I know a lot of you did participate and just listen in to the Ways and Means. And I know that some of you spent additional time looking and reviewing the YouTube. So thank you so much for getting back to me. But really important motion moving forward. Just want to give ample opportunity if there's any additional questions from trustees.
Mary Kate, it's Betty. I just want to clarify timeline. What are we looking, for a go date to here we are?
Yeah, great question, Betty. We will hear likely by May or June of next year on an award, and it is competitive, right? It's not guaranteed, but again, we like our chances. We will then quickly go into the design phase where we bring in architects. And again, remember, our wagon is hitched to DCAM. and they have a whole design process that we are subject to. So if I'm being realistic, that may take the better part of a year, quite honestly, because that's how long it took for building 19. And there are some particulars, our health programs really do have some real specific needs that'll need some conversation with us and with faculty. I'm hoping though, after that we can do better than a 2-year build and move. It took 2 years from the time we broke ground on building 19 to move in. I'm really hoping because we have a much better set of conditions in building 13 that maybe it's a 1.5 years. So all it is to say, it is going to take a couple of years before this is really done.
Okay, thank you.
And just to reiterate from the Ways and Means, and Dr. Cook, hold me here with some of these comments, is that we did have a conversation, kind of high level with entities, and we're sharpening our pencils, including a little bit more detail to the submission. That will, I believe that is going to be going in another month, right? Is that true, Dr. Cook?
Yep, December 23rd is the drop dead date, but we do hope to have things ready before then.
So that would be locked and loaded given the motion that is in front of us. Additional questions? Hearing none, would someone like to read the motion?
I would.
Go ahead, Betty.
Move that from the Committee on Ways and Means, subject use of reserves, Building 20 relocation. The move that the Springfield Technical Community College Board of Trustees, pursuant to the provision of Section 22, Chapter 15A, approve a $6 million increase to the General Education Trust Fund budget, sources of funds and uses of funds by utilizing trust fund reserves. The funds will be used towards relocating the School of Health and Patient Simulation programs and offices currently located in Building 20. The use of the reserves is contingent upon receiving necessary funding from DCAM and/or legislative support that may not take place until fiscal year 2023 or later.
Do I hear a second?
Madam Chair, I second the motion.
Thank you, Norm. Discussion. Hearing none. Nanette, could you please call the roll to accept the motion of the use of refunds for a Building 20 School of Health major project?
Yes, Mary Kate Mirren,
Yes.
Janae McDonald,
Yes.
Betty Esposito,
Yes,
Monique Selden, Maurice Lindsay,
Yes.
Vicky Krause,
Yes.
Samalit Hogan,
Yes.
Bill Johnson,
Yes.
Norm Roldan,
Yes.
Jeff Sattler,
Yes.
and Max Starks.
Yes.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, everyone. I know this topic has been long in coming, and I appreciate the cabinet, administration, faculty, staff, and getting this done, because our students are really the ones who are going to be the recipients of this incredible facility moving forward. So thank you so much on that. Mac, I've got you one more update for committee reports for investment subcommittee that happened on November 9th, 2021, sir.
Sure. Thank you, Madam Chair. So we had a good investment update led by Michael Chase from Fiduciant Advisors. The investments managed by Fiduciant total $28.9 million at September 30th, 2021, which represents a fiscal year-to-date increase in value of $9.9 million, including the college investment of $10 million in August. The long-term investment account totals $16 million at September 30th, 2021. And while performance for the quarter was down about 1%, year-to-date performance is up 8.1%. So great performance there. It's always good to see that. We then had a discussion on a proposed schedule to rebalance the investment portfolio between long and short term, and then we adjourned the meeting.
Great. Thank you so much, Trustee Starks. I appreciate it. Do I hear a motion to accept the committee meeting for the subcommittee, investment subcommittee that occurred on November 9th, 2021?
Maurice is so move.
Thank you, Maurice. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Great. Thank you, Jeff. Discussion. Hearing none, Nanette, would you please call the roll to accept the investment subcommittee report of November 9th, 2021?
Yes, Mary Kate Mirren,
Yes.
Janae McDonald,
Yes.
Betty Esposito,
Yes.
Monique Seldom, Maurice Lindsay,
Yes.
Vicky Krause,
Yes.
Samalid Hogan,
Yes.
Bill Johnson,
Yes.
Norm Roldan, Norm Roldan, Jeff,
I'm sorry, I said yes. I was.
yes, thank you. Jeff Sattler
Yes.
and Matt Starks.
Yes.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Just some old business. The governance, we had a conversation, as Trustee McDonald mentioned, to really understand the history of governance. And I do want to talk a little bit. I'm going to save my remarks more in the chair report, if that's okay. We'll talk a little bit about governance and the consultant, excuse me, in an update. But I'm going to just hold that for my my report, if that's okay with everybody. But we'll want to transition into new business, which is the reappointment of Daniel to STCCAC. Dr. Cook, is that you?
Yep, by way of context, again, the Assistance Corporation is the formal name for the tech park. It has a board. I sit on that by virtue of my position, but US trustees also have an appointment role for some of those seats. You'll see Dan Keenan, as some of you may know, was a state representative for a number of years and has been at Trinity Mercy for a number of years as well in government and affairs. And so this comes, I believe, with the support of Russell Denver, the chair of the Assistance Corporation, seeking reappointment of Dan Keenan.
Great, thank you. Do I hear a motion, or would someone like to read the motion, please?
Madam Chair, Bill Johnson. I move that the Springfield Technical Community College Board of Trustees, pursuant to the provisions of Chapter 273, Section 125, Acts of 1994, approves the reappointment of Daniel F. Keenan to the Springfield Technical Community College Assistance Corporation Board of Directors for a 3-year term from January 29th, 2022 to January 28th, 2025.
Thank you, Trustee Johnson. Do I hear a second?
Could you say it again, please?
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Discussion. Hearing none, Nanette, would you please call the roll to accept the motion, please?
Mary Kate Mirren,
Yes.
Janae McDonald,
Yes.
Betty Esposito,
Yes.
Monique Seldom, Maurice Lindsay,
Yes.
Vicky Krause,
Yes.
Samalid Hogan,
Yes.
Bill Johnson,
Yes, and so does my Siri say yes, I guess.
Norm Roldan,
Yes.
Jeff Sattler,
Yes.
and Max Starks.
Yes.
Thank you.
Great, May. Thanks so much. Let's transition right into President's perspective. Dr. Cook.
And I will be brief, everyone, tonight. It's amazing to think about 2021. At this point in the year, we're sort of thinking about it being in the books. It's been a big lift, big push by the college. Let me just say this on the front end. We're absolutely thrilled and delighted with your vote just now. I'm particularly thrilled for our students and for our faculty. It's going to be tremendous to pull up and out that really, really important and valuable School of Health and Patient Simulation, give it its due, and really put a spotlight on that. So your support has been invaluable, and I can't thank you enough for that. I'm really looking forward to good things on that. Just a few other notes. One is, you'll see every once in a while, I will continue to work to give you perspective on the communication happening within the college. Our vaccine policy continues to roll out quite well. This college, living that technical mission, has really put in some wonderful processes to help, as simply as allow a student to upload their VAX documentation. And I'm pleased to share that we have over 1,100 students who already have combined uploaded their VAX documentation. On the employee side, we only went live on Monday after finishing impact bargaining, right? The 15 community colleges together. We already have 99 employees, myself included, who have already uploaded their vaccine documentation. And that went out in the evening on Friday. So again, really helping move forward with one of those really important protective measures. And for our workplace safety is having that in place come January. So really pleased on that. We're working right now on trying to better operationalize folks like our vendors who come to campus, visitors, contractors. We want to be sure that we have clarity on that. It's related to the second piece, which is right now there is an indoor on-campus mask requirement. We are thinking about under what conditions will we continue that come spring semester. We look, by the way, to K-12. You may see sometimes in the newspaper or on online forums, there are school districts who, when they reach 80% vaccination in their student population, can request from DESE, which is the equivalent of the Department of Higher Ed, right? It's the Department of Elementary and Secondary Ed. They can request a waiver from DESE to have an indoor mask requirement. We are likely going to be well beyond 80% vaccination, both on our students and our employees when all is said and done, begging the question then around us continuing with an indoor mask requirement. But again, we are having those conversations internally as a college. We are going to keep other things in place. When you go into building 19, there's plexiglass barriers. We do keep and continue to keep things lower density. We are not pushing our caps for our on-campus classes all the way to the maximums that we can. We have telework, right? Hybrid work schedules still in place and anticipate keeping that. We are using and utilizing virtual meetings and forums when we can. And again, we want to try to continue to avoid any disincentives for students to want to engage with us or, again, come to campus. We don't want to disincentivize them coming to campus. So that really is hopefully an important set of context and perspective on vaccine policy, masking, and where we're looking going forward. We'll keep a sharp eye on where enrollment is, and we'll report that out come January. But again, we're doing well to continue to put a solid one foot in front of the other. My last outlook to share is with NECHI. Again, we talked a lot about the New England Commission of Higher Education. They visited us in April. This past Friday, I went with our board chair, and we essentially were asked to present ourselves in front of the commission as the sort of final step in the accreditation process. They have the evaluation report that we've shared broadly by the team that visited us. They have a response from me where they basically asked the president to provide an additional perspective. And then when we go, they ask a lot of questions. We were in front of that commission for the better part of an hour, and they ask a lot about enrollment. They ask a lot about facilities, and they certainly asked about governance. When we have the final, honestly, the official accreditation, sort of reaccreditation, we'll be sure we share that. Any other documents, we'll be sure that we're talking about that. I have every expectation we will be reaccredited. I'm hearing very good and encouraging perspective from that. I also have no doubt we will continue to talk about governance. And a lot of that is this idea of clarity about roles and responsibilities. That's really what they kept asking and seeking, both from me and from Mary Kate when we had that kind of conversation. And so I think we all know we have work cut out to be sure that we have clarity on roles and responsibilities, because the standard for internal governance by NETCHI doesn't prescribe to us what it is. It just says that everyone's clear. That's the art of a NETCHI standard. So again, we'll be talking a lot more about that, no doubt. I know our chair has some remarks and comments on that, but again, what a big lift to go through accreditation. It was a multi-year process. Here we are. And again, it was very encouraging to be able to share and show, honestly, all the good things, the positive and encouraging things that are happening for and by this institution going forward. I'm really looking forward to some of the strategic planning that we have in the year ahead and really putting together a budget with all of you. So I'll say, if I don't have a chance at the end, happy Thanksgiving. Thank you for your time and effort. All these administrators that you see on the screen too, my great thanks to them. They have really helped bring a lift during these COVID months and now COVID years. And again, we're thrilled. We're thrilled with where we are. So I'll leave it there. Thank you, everybody.
Questions or comments for Dr. Cook on his perspective? So I'll transition right into my report. I always try to learn something every day, and being in front of a NETCHI commission with 17 or 18 higher education educators. It really isn't, I have to say, one of the things I want to do on a Friday. But it was really pretty interesting, everyone, is Dr. Cook did make some comments, and I was asked specifically on governance. And really understanding the roles and responsibility of the trustees. And we do know that did come out in the report. It's going to be something that we are focused in on. And what I would suggest is a couple of things from a next step perspective. We really need to do a board self-assessment. And I think that is something we had mentioned previously. It's kind of on the plate. And maybe that's something that we can engage ACCT once again with a self-assessment. We would do that, understanding our roles and responsibility as trustees and part of the board. And then that would be folded into that potential consultant. So just so you know where we are, Andrea Nathanson has been really helpful. So thank you, Andrea. There has been an RFP been sent out to 4 potential vendors. That was issued on the 16th of November. Those proposals are due back to Andrea by December 10th. Our target start date with this process is January 10th, 2022. Can't believe I'm saying 2022. And then that would give us all the way through May to have that target report due. And then we would have a presentation to the trustees. Of course, so everyone knows, this is going to be an inclusive process. Once we do lock down a vendor and a consultant that's going to assist us, I will be asking for assistance from the trustees to liaison with this process. So a lot more coming in the upcoming weeks and month once we do finalize a vendor. But this is going to be one of the most important things we do as trustees, because I heard loud and clear from multiple people on Friday from the NETCHI Commission that this is something they are looking forward to. I gave them my word as chair that in a year to a year and a half that we would have a formalized structure that we are all comfortable with, and that everyone has been involved in that process and really will set us up for success in the future. So that's a little bit of my comments. As Dr. Cook said, they were very, very interested in enrollments, keeping an eye on enrollments for the spring and for the fall, in the hopes that we eventually get out of these unprecedented times and get back to some sort of normalcy. So I think we're all kind of looking for that. I'm just going to pause there if anyone had any comments or questions from what Dr. Cook and I participated in Friday or with my comments.
Mary Kate, just a question. The RFP went out for what? A consultant to liaison that process, or what exactly is the role of whatever?
Yep. Yep. So not to liaison, but to really help us formalize the governance process, Vicki. So we as trustees, and I apologize for not being as clear as I could have, we're going to need some assistance from the trustees to liaison with our groups, really get in a room and to really understand governance in general, but to really set a process. And that has not been established, but a consultant who is engaged will help us walk through that process. And then one or two from the board will kind of liaison and manage, is my initial thought. But open to suggestions and comments from others. Did that help?
Yes, thank you.
Apologies. Yep, go ahead, Maurice.
Madam Chair, does the governance piece also include possible the AUC bylaws?
Absolutely. Absolutely, Trustee Lindsay. This is every constituent on campus. So I think, it's important. So once we see these proposals, when they come in, we're going to have to make sure that there's a couple of us from a trustee perspective, as stated already, that understands this process, and the inclusivity of everyone represented on campus is going to be priority. And this includes all of our bargaining units, cabinet, administration, students, everyone who's part. And also, they mentioned also coming through with change management, right? And how do we continue our continuous improvement? And I did write one major note is, how have we changed and supported the community in that change management? So that's going to be another piece. And how do we include the community and their need to participate with a direction to stick to? I think it's a worthy conversation and comment that was made on Friday to me also.
Great, thank you, Madam Chair.
Absolutely. Any other comments? I have to say, I can't believe it's already Thanksgiving, and the new year is right around the corner. To Dr. Cook's comments, I wish everyone a healthy and safe Thanksgiving and holiday season. Our date of our next board meeting is Monday, January 24th, 2022. So we'll already be in the new year. But thank you everyone so much for the hard work already for the calendar year. We're not even close to the school year, but appreciate the hard work, the dedication to continuous improvement for the community college, and look forward to starting a new year and getting us to where we want to be. So with that, do I hear a motion to end the Board of Trustees meeting for Monday, November 22nd, 2021?
So moved.
Bill
Thanks,
Johnson,
Nanette.
second.
Second, thank you. I don't think there's going to be any discussion. So Nanette, would you please call?
Yes, Mary Kate Murin,
Yes.
Janae McDonald, Betty Esposito,
Yes.
Monique Seldon, Maurice Lindsay,
Yes.
Vicky Krause,
Yes.
Samalit Hogan,
Yes.
Bill Johnson,
Yes.
Norm Jordan,
Yes.
Jeff Sattler,
Yes.
and Max Starks.
Yes.
Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Happy holidays, and please be safe.
Thank
Thanks
you.
again,
Thank you all.
everybody.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays,
Okay.
everybody.
Thank you.
Have a happy Thanksgiving, everyone.